Hi, this is Scott. Welcome to another Hollinger Team video blog. The topic for this blog is our third quarter waterfront update for 2018. And I'd like to start off first though with kind of the general multiple list year-to-date for homes and residential sales. This year we've had 2,399 closings, compared with last year at 2,413. So a little bit of a decline, only 0.6%. So basically we just are in a strong, steady market that is seeing a good number of sales. It'll be interesting to see how the year ends, but I think it'll be as strong, possibly a little bit stronger. We'll have to see. We've had a nice autumn. First off, I'd like to start out with Flathead Lake and the activity for sales on Flathead. Right now on the residential side, there's 109 homes currently on the market. We saw a peak of about 130 homes, and it's gone down a little bit just because of the seasonality of the wishes of some sellers. There's been 35 sales so far this year, which compares with 35 sales last year. So kind of the steady market that I've talked about. An interesting thing that I want to add to that is that there are 17 pending sales on the lake, so almost 50% of year-to-date sales. It'll be an interesting end to the year. If we look forward, that 17 and the 35 take us to 52 sales for the whole year if the ones pending close this year and no others go under contract and close, which compares with 46 for last year's and the full year of 2017 sales. So with the pending right now, we're going to see a higher number of transactions by year end than we had last year. So good signs on the market there. I think I reported in one of the earlier blogs on, I think the second quarter update, that last year, 48% of all the transactions for homes on Flathead were under $500,000. Interesting thing to share is right now there's only one home for sale under $500,000 on the lake. So that whole inventory, that whole part of the market's gone away. And then also there's only 3 between $500,000 and $600,000 currently for sale on the market. So the lower end of the Flathead waterfront home market is shrinking rapidly. On the vacant land side, 16 sales. There's 43 active, and there were 13 sales last year. So about three more transactions on the waterfront side so far, and there's 4 pending. So vacant land is doing a little bit better and better, and as we've seen those 500 and some of the $600,000 home selection disappear, then the vacant land sale is starting to kick in. On the condominiums on Flathead Lake, there are 42 active. There are 6 pending sales on the lake, so good selection. Fair number percentage-wise are currently under contract. 24 have sold so far this year, so by the year end, it's going to be a large portion of the inventory that's going to sell. And that's compared with 26 last year. So 24 this year, 26 last year, about the same. But one other interesting thing that I'd like to share on those is the highest sale this year has been $599,000 on a condominium. It's been several years since we've had higher sales in the condominiums, but we did have some, interestingly enough, during the recession. On Swan Lake, there are 13 homes currently on the market, and there's 3 pending. Interestingly enough, is of those 3 pending, 2 of them are over $1 million. So we've had some interesting higher end sales on Swan Lake. There were 5 closed sales so far this year. 4 of those were over $1 million. So interesting kind of trending going out on in the upper end on the Swan range or on the Swan market. And there were 5 last year, but all 5 were under $1 million. So kind of a little bit of the decline of lower priced properties and a little bit of an increase in some of the higher end also. On the vacant land side, not as exciting. 10 active properties, There are no pending sales. There was 2 sales so far this year to date, but none of those sales were in this last quarter. So the last quarter, even though weather was super nice, didn't see any vacant land sales. Last year, year to date on the lake for vacant land, there was 1 lot sale in 3 quarters of 2017. On the Echo and Blaine updates, I've also added in Lake of the Woods, which is a small lake in between Echo and Lake Blaine. That's basically a canoeing, kayaking, non-motorized lake. Very pretty, great views of the mountains. But there's been some sales there, and I thought I'd include it simply because that is it is a fair number of the sales and activity in this area on the lake. Anyhow, right now on the residential side, there's 16 active homes for sale. There's 7 homes on Blaine, 3 on Lake of the Woods, so there's some interesting variety there, and 6 homes for sale on Echo Lake. There's 2 pending sales. 1 is on Lake Blaine and 1 is on Lake of the Woods. So we have, again, some activity to share with you on that. So far this year, there's been 5 home sales, 1 on Blaine and 2 on Lake of the Woods and 2 on Echo Lake. So good variety, and certainly Lake of the Woods is a player in the market. Last year there were 2 home sales, 1 on Blaine and 1 on Echo. So we've seen a pretty good increase from 2 sales up to 5. Even if you take out the Lake of the Woods sale, there's still 3, which is up from the 2 last year. On the vacant land side, there's 9 active vacant land listings, no pending sales. Of the 9 that are active, there are 8 on Echo and 1 on Blaine. No vacant properties on Lake of the Woods. There are 4 sales that we've had, 1 on Blaine, 1 on Lake of the Woods, and 2 on Echo. That compares with last year of no vacant land sales. So went from nothing going on vacant land wise to 4, which again, talk about it, where the lower price cabins are starting to disappear and vacant land is starting to fill in. Okay, out to Ashley, Bitterroot, and McGregor. Right now on the lakes, the 3 lakes, there's 17 homes for sale on those lakes, 7 on Ashley, 6 on Bitterroot, and 4 on McGregor. There's 3 pending sales. There's 2 of those are on Ashley Lake and 1's on Bitterroot. So far, there's been 11 sales this year, 6 on Ashley. Ashley's been really going pretty strong. 3 on Bitterroot and 2 on McGregor. So all the lakes are getting some activity. 10 sales last year, so only 1 more sale this year compared to last year. 3 on Ashley last year, 4 on Bitterroot last year, and 3 on McGregor. Little thing that I want to throw in there also is the Thompson chain of lakes, which is just a little further west, has had some sales. There were 4 sales this year out on Thompson lakes compared with last year where there were none. So a little bit of other activity out there in waterfront sales that we hadn't seen in the past, so I thought I'd just report that. On vacant land, there's 12 active sales, 3 on Ashley, 3 on Bitterroot, and 6 on McGregor Lakes. McGregor's been the leader in vacant land available for quite a while. There aren't any pending sales on vacant land, which is similar to Blaine and Echo, but some of the other lakes have all got vacant land pending. This year, there's been 6 closed vacant land sales, 2 on Ashley, 2 on Bitterroot, and 2 on McGregor. Compared with last year, 5 sales year to date. But interestingly enough, they were all on Ashley Lake. None of the other lakes had any vacant land sales. So kind of an interesting trend there. Also, the other thing, when you look at the graphics, I did another little calculation there to share with everyone, and that was the list to sales price ratio, and they were all pretty strong, except for some of the higher end sales that I made note of there, where they were down a little bit lower. The MLS average is about 95% of ask overall for pretty much all properties on our multiple list, and so the waterfront is following along suit. Even the vacant land is doing pretty well in that regard. And I thought that'd be an interesting little thing, because people often ask, well, you know, how much are things selling below ask price? And that would be the answer. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed the update. Any questions that you have, or specific areas or types of properties you want to know more about, let us know. Happy to answer your questions. And we've got some other really interesting topics coming up for our next blog. Thanks for tuning in and watching the Hollinger Team video blog.